Hi friends, it's Deanna here, and today we are sewing the Be Creative hoodie. And this is one of my favorite hoodies. It's in its name, Be Creative, because we can use all kinds of different patterns, different designs on the fabric. It gives itself to color blocking, and there's the hood, there's the cowl. So it's one that you can customize to your kid's style, and so I love it so much. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, but before I do, let me remind you about our fun fan giveaway of $50 Ellie and Mackie certificate every month. And how we choose a winner is we do a random giveaway for our subscribers. So all you have to do is pause, subscribe if you haven't, and comment below. So you have to have the comment. So comment below. Let us know what you like about our videos. Let us know what you like about our patterns. Let us know what your favorite pattern is. Whatever, just give us a shout out, and you'll be entered for our giveaway. So let's go ahead and get started. I am dealing with allergies today, so if I sound a little bit funky, it's my allergies, but I actually this is so weird. I love the sound of my voice when I'm sick. It's kind of like a deeper voice, and I feel like I sound really cool. So yeah. And I figured allergies will not keep me from sewing. I am taking my allergy pills, but South Georgia allergies are a killer. So I'm hoping that will go away soon. Anyway, so but I wish my voice would stay. I mean, maybe to you my voice sounds the same, so you're probably like, I don't hear any difference, but in my head I feel like my voice sounds amazing right now. Ooh, that was rough. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's get to sewing, because that's where you're here. So we've got our front panel, and now I'm going to do this to the front and the back. I actually already did it to the back panel, but you're going to do it to both front and back. And we've got the bottom panel face up on our board. And you can go ahead and find that center. Actually, before I get to that, this is in this panel, and in this pattern, the really neat thing is also you can put a piping along the top, the middle, in between the bottom bodice and the top bodice of the front, and it has like a little piping line. I am not doing that because I have my two materials here, and then there's this line here, so I don't need it. But I'm going to show you, like, if this was your piping, which is not, this, I did not cut this for piping, this is just one I already had. You would fold it wrong sides together and steam it. I'm just going to do it to show you. So it would be like this, wrong sides together. So the right side would be attached. You're going to put it right along that edge of your top bottom. So right along the edge of your top bottom. And you can go ahead, if you want to baste that on, you don't have to. You're just going to have to sandwich it with the front. So this is what we're going to do next. We're going to grab our front top, and let's find that middle too. Even though you really don't need to find the middle, sometimes I don't, because it's not going to be stretched. It's going to be just placed right on top, and it should match right up. So you would put that on, that piping, and then you would put the other top, the front top section right on top of it, face down. So like the top section and the bottom section are right sides together. So they're touching, the right sides are touching, and the piping is squished between the two of them, okay? So you're gonna sew it all together. But since I'm not doing the piping, I'm just gonna put that one away, and I'm just gonna go straight to just the top, right sides together with the bottom of the bodice. I hope that made sense. I feel like I made it more complicated than I made it sound more complicated than it really is, but I hope you understood what I was trying to say. I think that sometimes I talk too much, and you're like, I get it, like, you know, I got it. Anyway, so right sides together of the front top and the front bottom with your piping sandwiched between both of them, right side out, if you're doing piping. So now we're gonna go ahead and sew that raw edge. Your piping would be sandwiched in with the right side out if you were doing the piping. I cleaned my room yesterday, my sewing room. It was about time to clean it. So like my sewing machine is, I moved everything around, so everything is like all turned around and not exactly at the spot where I usually have it. Alright, so now that I have sewn that, you're going to do the exact same thing to your back bodice. Put that front and the back together. Then you're going to flip it open, steam it. If you want, you can go ahead and top stitch that seam right there. This is up to you. If you want to top stitch that seam, you can do a zigzag stitch. You can do a double needle. You can do a cover stitch. You can do some of you do the reverse serge where it shows the serging stitches. I've never done that, but I've always thought that looked amazing. So I know that Sonia did a tutorial on that. It was a blog tutorial, and it's on our website. So if you want to look into that and you're interested about how to do that reverse serge where you see the trim of the serger, kind of like an edge, check that out. It's on our website, Ellie and Mac website. That would be very informative. And actually, I might have to check it out because I've seen people do it and I always thought that was so cool, but I just have never done it myself. So I might be heading over there right after this video because I just got reminded. I just remembered that she did that blog. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and attach the shoulder seams. So we're going to grab one of our bodice. I'm going to face it up, and then the other bodice, we're going to put it right on top of it. And we're matching those shoulder seams. Shoulder seams. Yes. Sorry for that. Maybe I'm not sorry. Maybe you enjoy it. Now I'm going to sew those shoulder seams together. Oh, let me tell you this. I am using my serger because I am in love with my serger, and I just find that serging is easier. But you can also do this pattern with your sewing machine. So everything I'm doing on my serger, I would just do on my sewing machine with a zigzag or any kind of stretch stitch. So you would find your stretch stitch that would work best for you and for the fabric you're using. Do a test strip. So how I would do that is I would grab a piece of my fabric that I'm using. I would go on my sewing machine and I would look up my different zigzag stitch stretch stitches. So it could be your zigzag stitch, it could be your lightning bolt stitch, it could be any kind of stitch you have that it would be considered a stretch stitch. And I would sew it and then stretch and see which one gives me the better stretch. I'm going to go ahead and seam these shoulders because I have been told by some of my viewers that steaming gives it a better looking edge. So I have been following your instructions and I've been steaming all my seams, and I think it does make a difference. So thank you. Now I'm going to attach sleeves, and I am going to trim here in the corner where my edge on my top is, so I know exactly where it is. And it's just, I just take a little tiny notch, just tiny little notch, just enough for me to see later, not have to worry about it. And I'm gonna put it right at my shoulder seam. And now I'm kind of wishing I had done like different kind of sleeves, different color, maybe even just all black sleeves. Oh well. And we're gonna go down the side, matching the raw edges to the raw edge of your arm side. So we're going all the way down. and matching those raw edges, and we're gonna do that for both sides, both sleeves, I mean. But I'm just gonna show you how to do it on one sleeve, and then we're gonna, when we move on, I'll go do the other sleeve. But now I'm gonna go ahead and sew. See, it's right on top of it, like a curvy sleeve right there. I'm gonna go ahead and sew all the way around. I just dropped link what I was talking to you all about right before I said something about the sleeve. Oh yes. Kind of wishing I would have done it all black, but that's okay because my son, he loves hoodies, so I've made a few of these, and there's no shortage of combinations. He loves the fun pattern. And I am so proud to say that he is not ashamed to wear mommy made. So I'm hoping that doesn't change anytime soon because I love sewing for him. I really do. And he, like, whenever he has to pick what to wear, he always picks mommy made. Sometimes I'm like, well, we're going somewhere where you need to, like, actually kind of dress up, and he'll be picking, like, a t-shirt I made him or something. I'm like, no. So, I need to make him some more pants. Yes. I usually make more tops, and then I've made a bunch of Be Active shorts because he just, those are just the ones that he wears every day. So, like, we'll go out somewhere, and he will want to wear them. I'm like, okay, well, you gotta kind of dress up a little bit. I need to make him some of more dressy pants, and I have made the high tie board shorts. I made them a while ago with just fat halves, cotton fat halves, and they turned out really good. So I think I'm gonna make some with actually a dressier material. And what a good idea, y'all! You are so good at giving me ideas. Thank you. Whoever shouted that out, I heard you. So now what we're going to do is, now that we sewn the sleeve, we're going to fold them right sides together. The bodice, see, this is my sleeve, this is my front, this is my back, and I'm going to put it right on top of each other. And I'm going to match up at the armpit, those armpit seams, the seam of the armpit and the seam of the bodice where the two lines meet right here. I'm going to go down, and I am the worst pattern matching person, like stripe matching, I mean. Oh, I love matching patterns, but I just cannot match the stripes. I have such a hard time. I don't even know if this top matches or not. I'd be surprised if it does. Whoa, it really actually does. Sometimes I do it, but most of the time I'm just like, forget it. You know, like they say, I was telling my husband and I'm going all the way down the one side and all the way down the sleeve, and I'm going to be doing the same thing to both sleeves. My room, my sewing room, is a creative mess. It's a mess sometimes. There's fabric everywhere, there's patterns everywhere, because I don't just work on one thing. I don't know how you are, but I have about 5, 6 at the moment. Oh, 7, 8. I think that's it. Projects all over the room. 1, 2, 3. Well, this would be 4 of them are cut out and ready to be sewn. And then there's 2 over there that have to be hemmed. And there's 2 up there that have to be changed. That was something I made for a specific reason, and then I'd already served its purpose, so now I want to turn it into an everyday wear. So it's sitting over there waiting to be turned into an everyday wear. But what I'm saying is, there's stuff all over my room, and so my husband walks in and he's like, why is your room always such a mess? I cannot create in a clean space. I have to have all these things, and that's just how I work. That's how my mind works. I need all this fabric. I need to see it. I need to feel it. It needs to speak to me. I can't just put it away and forget about it. I have to have it out and I have to see it. Tell me about you. How are you? Are you organized when it comes to fabric? Are you crazy? Like in my mind, I'm like, my mind is like spaghetti noodles, and everything is just going. And actually, I'll say it's like yarn, because yarn comes in different colors, because there's different colors running all over the place. And so stripe matching to me is like such a tedious thing. Like, don't have time for that. Like, that's not my thing. My thing is just like going, matching, and craziness. That's just how my mind works. And rabbit trails, like right now I'm going on a rabbit trail. But how does your mind work? Are you like a organized, you know, like everything has to be in its place? That's my husband. And he's very creative as well, but he's got to have everything in its place. Or are you like, you know, everything needs to be out so you know where it's at? It's like a control chaos. I know where everything's at. It's just, you know, somebody else will come in here and it'll be hard for them to find it. But I know where it's at. It might take me a little while to find it, but I know where it's usually at. But now we're going to go ahead and sew up that side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sew up that side. And while I finish sewing up that side, I'm going to finish sewing up that side. And then I'm going to do the same for the other side. And we'll continue on to finish up our Be Creative. Alrighty, so both of my sleeves are on. Oh yeah. So now we're going to move on to our waistband and our cuffs. So I've got my waistband, my 2 pieces, and I'm going to grab it and fold it right sides together. Sorry, my 1 piece, it's caught in the fold. I'm going to grab them and right sides together, and that short side, I'm going to sew it to create one continuous band. After I do that, I'm going to fold it like a hot dog, wrong sides together, meeting at the raw edge. Fold it. Come on. Here we are. Here we are, almost. Cotton lycra is one of my favorite kids fabric to work with. I love cotton lycra for kids because it's soft, because it's pretty thick, but it's not super thick. I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of cotton lycra you get. It's not at all very see-through. It's just a good fabric, but sometimes, especially with like custom cotton lycra, it rolls a lot. Here it is. So I folded it. Here's the raw edge at the top. Here's my 1 pin at the seam, and then we're gonna go to the front. I'm gonna clip the front and put a pin right there, and then I'm gonna meet the front and the back together, and I'm gonna go to the sides. So it rolls, so it's like you have to fight with it. A lot of steaming, a lot of trying to like fight it and say, you're going to do what I tell you to do because I am boss, right? And then after I do that with my band, I'm going to grab my top. I like to trim some of these, and that is another reason why I end up with garbage all over my floor, because I just kind of throw it, even though I do have a waste basket back here. Never use it. I'm meeting my 2 side seams, and I'm going out to the front, and then I'm going to go out to the back to find my front and my back. Front, back. And now I'm going to grab my waistband, and this is my back piece right here, you know, because it's the higher neck. I'm going to put that seam all the way in the back. So I'm going to fit my band into the right side of my top, matching those raw edges where I put those notches, those pins, with the raw edges where I marked my top, my bodice. And like I said, I'm the back, I'm putting that seam, then I'm matching those sides, then the front, then the other side. And you can quarter like this when you do the armband. I'll show you how to do the armband in a minute. And if you want to quarter like this, you can go ahead and do that as well. Just quarter it. But I don't usually quarter my armbands because they're smaller, but I'll tell you what I do. I'm going to go ahead and sew that raw edge at the bottom, sew them together. Make sure they're even, matched up. Make sure you're sewing all 3 layers. It is the 2 layers of the waistband and then the 1 layer of the top. So if you have to pull the waistband a little bit, make sure you do that. Almost there. And then comes the fun part. Last but not least, my last quarter. Okay, now I'm going to fold over and steam. And what you can do is, if you want to, you can top stitch that edge as well. That is up to you. Always make sure if you're steaming your seam up, steam all the way around up. If you're steaming your seam down, steam all the way around down. Because if one part is up and one part is down, it'll give you like a wavy effect on your jacket shirt thing. Ooh, it's gonna be so cute. Okay, now our cuff. We've got my cuffs and we're gonna put them right sides together. And at that long edge, we're gonna sew that edge together to make it one continuous band. Like a wider waistband. Longer but skinnier, I guess. I don't know. And then we're gonna roll it again like we did our waistband. Wrong sides together to meet those raw edges at the top. Lick my fingers. Might have to wash this before I give it to my son, my poor son. Okay, so you can go ahead if you want to quarter, go from the seam to the front. There's a half. Usually I just do a half. I don't think I need to quarter all the way. And you can do the same to your band, your arm. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and fit it into it. And match those halves. Make sure you match the seam with the seam. That was just like one straight seam. And then over here where you did your half. Because you usually do pull your band a little bit, stretch your band a little bit to match your cuff. I mean, stretch your cuff a little bit, your band to match your sleeve. I guess I said the same thing. I don't know. So stretch a little bit of your cuff, your band, arm band, to fit your sleeve. You gotta stretch evenly. If you don't stretch evenly, you'll have a flutter. That's why it's best to cut it in half, or even if you are having a struggle with it, quarter it. The more you separate it, the least likely you be to get a plucker. So there are our bands are on, because I already did my other band after I did the sleeve. So now we'll move on to the hood. Hood. Yes. Okay, so I already did one of my grommets. Wrong side, there we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab your outer. This is gonna be your outer. And this is my right side of my outer. And I already did the higher grommet. And when my pattern piece, I cut out the pieces where my grommets go. So I already did the higher one on the other one. So I'm going to do the lower one on this one. So I'm going to place on my lower one, on the outer part of it, the right side, I'm going to put my little patch that I'm going to sew on in a minute. And on the inside part of it, the wrong side part of it, I guess you could do this one before you do the front, I'm going to put my little piece of interfacing. Okay, as per instruction manual. I'm just steaming it on. A little piece of interfacing to give it a little bit of extra oomph. So now my piece, I'm going to sew it all the way around. So I'm going to do a straight stitch all the way around. Chook, 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 chook. Okay? I'm just doing a little straight stitch. I'm hoping my sewing machine doesn't let me down. It's like 1/8 away from the edge. I went too close. It's okay. Make sure when you get to the end, you do a back and forth so it doesn't come apart. And there it is. My patch is on. It's sewn on, okay? If you want to do like a decorative stitch, or if you want to do it like fray it or whatever, make it look distressed, this is where creativity comes in. And now we're going to do our grommets. Now, this kind of grommets I have are just the kind that come with like this little kit. I got these at the store for like very cheap. So, but there's all different kinds. So you go by your manual, your grommets manual, whatever it tells you to do. But this is what mine tells me to do. And the first thing you need to do is make a hole. So what I do is I just grab my grommet with the little raised up part and mark on my fabric. So you can see like I left a mark behind of what the grommet's gonna look like. And usually I use my little tiny scissors, but I have no idea where they are. All I have are this big scissors. But if I can't do it with these big scissors, they're very sharp, so I might be able to do it. I just kind of open a little hole right there. There we go, I got it. I make sure that it's not any bigger at all than, I just kind of, it's kind of like a star, like you don't want it to be any bigger than your grommet, because your grommet's supposed to fit snugly in there. So I'm grabbing my grommet and I'm putting them from underneath. Actually, this is the part that goes on top. Again, look at your instruction manual because it might not be the same as mine. See, I'm poking it through the hole. And then I have my other part where it just sits there. And I sit it on top of my little grommet holder thingy. And I'm gonna fit my washer on top of it. You have to do it in a sturdy surface. So we're gonna do it on this. Oops. Ah! Have you ever seen on Facebook, it kind of went around on Facebook, that pet show, that chaotic pet show? That's what I feel like right now, my chaotic sewing show. Everything's going everywhere. I've got a hammer. Ooh, yes. Okay, so now that I put the little grommet, fit it through the bottom, put it all the way through, put the washer on top, have the little bottom part here. I'm going to place it on top of that. Then I'm going to grab my little hook thingy and place that on it. That's going to make it go down. Grab my hammer and literally, I just did the other side and it was fine, and I go to do this side and it's giving me a hard time. You're good. Because you guys are here. Alright, so there it is. It's on. I bent it because I was going crazy. That's alright. It's okay. That's okay. Alright, so now that I have both of my grommets on, this one looks better. Whatever. And what I did for the patch was I just cut a little piece of this fabric to give it a little bit of color. So that's what I did. So I'm going to grab my two hoods, my two right sides, and put them right sides together. And I'm going to sew around the outer edge. And you're going to do the same thing with your liner. So I'm doing it I'm showing you how to do it with my outer, but I'm going to do the same thing with my liner. All the way around the crown. Right sides together. Same with the liner. Okay. My sewing machine sometimes has this little, my serger, these little tunnel things. Annoying me. Okay, so now my hood is put together. This is gonna be my outer. You wanna go ahead and steam it so that you don't have those bulky, weird seams. Just, you can open it up and steam it. And that will help it, you know, go all the way around steaming it. And actually, I have this arm thing for, I think, steaming that I inherited and I've never used it. I might pull it out and see how it works because I just thought about that. That's awesome. Okay, so I've got my hood outer. Now, if you're doing cords, hood cord thingies, you're gonna grab your cord, you're gonna put it right sides together, or if you have a cord, and then I'm gonna sew it all together on the raw edge, the raw edges together. If you have a cord that you're using, then you can just use that. You don't have to make your own. But hood strings are not recommended for young children. We don't recommend them for young children. And if you're doing hood strings, they should be less than 6 inches long. But Ellie and Mac recommends that you use the, I don't remember what it's called, but that you use the, my laptop went dead, that you use the show ones, like the what do you call it? Anyway, just the one that goes wrong, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to show you how to do that. But that's what we recommend because hood strings can be quite dangerous, so we want to be careful and we want to make sure that our kids are safe. So if you're doing the string, you're going to grab it, you're going to fit it through, you're going to turn it around. So the easiest way is to go grab a safety pin and it'll help you turn it around. Since these strings don't go all the way around the neck, and they're just going to be tied, they're going to be in a knot. I'm going to make a knot in the back, and they're just going to kind of hang there. If they get caught on something, hopefully the knot would give away, and they would come right out. But just to be safe, that is why we suggest just doing the, I can't think of the name. I'll think of it at the end and I'll be like, ah! Okay, so here it is. This is my string. So what you would do right now, if you're doing strings, you would feed it through your you would feed it through your grommet, and you would tie a knot at the back, and to make it get stuck. And then what you could do is, if you want to go do a little bit of a sew the knot down on it so it doesn't just come out in the wash, you can do that. Okay, so that would be your string option. I am doing the other option, so I'm just going to wait on that in a minute. I'm going to grab my 2 hoods, and I'm going to put them right sides together. So fit one into the other. I'm going to match them at the crown, the top of the head. They're just fitted into one another. I'm going to go all the way down the side of the face. All the way around. And then down the other side. Right sides together. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab and sew all around the edge of the head. So like this side, all the way around. Make sure you sew on both sides. Like I said, sometimes my serger has these little pieces that stay attached. My knife needs sharpening. Okay, so now we're going to turn it right side out. And I'm going to steam my hood. And I like to sometimes show my inside like so. So I will fold it in a way when I steam it that my inside is showing just a little bit, like framing the hood. Does that make sense? Like that. I think that's cool. Especially if I do something funky on the inside of the hood, like stripes. Stripes are my go-to on my inside of my hoods. Make sure you take all the pins off. I thought I had, but I hadn't. Okay, now I have. And then you can go ahead, if you want to top stitch your hood, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to, because I like to top stitch my hood. I have a cover stitch, so I'm doing a cover stitch, top stitch, cover stitch. My foot, somewhere in there. have a brother cover stitch, and if you're wondering if I like it, yes, I do like it. Yes, I do like it. All right, my hood is on. See my top stitching. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my shirt and I'm gonna find the front and the back because I want to attach the back of my hood. So what we're doing is we're matching the shoulder seams. We're going to the back, and then shoulder seams again, and we're going to the front because I want to match up the back of my hood. So we're gonna attach the right side of the hood, right sides together, with the back of the right side of the top. So see the black, which is my outer, I'm going to pin it to the back of my top right side. Okay, before I attach my hood, I'm going to see over here where they overlap. And if you want to, you can, well, actually, I'm wondering, if I want to baste this together first. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, on the pattern, it gives you how much to overlap them. So like, I know that for 12 to 3T, you overlap 5 inches. For 4 to 70, for 4T to 7, you overlap 6 inches. From 8 to 14, you overlap 8 inches. So here's my ruler, and I'm going to measure my 8 inches. So this is 6. I'm going to measure my 8 inches. There it is, 8 inches. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and baste it, because that way there's no guessing game when I'm going to sew it together. So I'm going to unpin it from the back. That way my other part doesn't get on the way. And this is just an extra step I'm taking. So I overlapped it. You can see I overlapped my hood. And I measured that my overlapping, see right here, from one side to another, that's 8 inches. So that's 2 inches right here, 6 inches right here, and then 2 more inches. That's 8 inches of overlap, which means that my middle is gonna be like right here, okay? So see my middle mark? Somewhere around here is where I marked my middle. There it is. Right here's my middle. So it's 4 inches to one side, 4 inches to the other side. It's not 8 inches on each side, it's 8 whole total inches, okay? So I'm gonna baste this. And basting is just a long straight stitch that you can later take out, just pull out when you're done, putting your hood on. But to me, it seems like I'm a little scared about the overlap, so I want to make sure. Now, if I'm doing the string version, I probably should have done it before I basted it. But now, I'm just gonna come in from the back. So maybe you should do it before you're, what do you call it? Baste it together. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna put my string through. I've got my knot on one side, so it's coming through. Now I'm gonna put it in through the other one. And I'm just coming in from the back. Put it in through my other one. That's my accent string right here. How cool is that? And I'm going to tie a knot in the back. See, there's my grommet. I'm just tying a knot. And if you want to baste up, if you want to sew it closed, you can. That way it doesn't come off later. See that? My accent string. Very cool. I'm gonna go in and just give it a little bit of a stitch. Just a tiny stitch right there. over the, whoop, I don't know why my sewing machine came unthreaded. Oh, because I cut it too close. Okay, so now I'm just gonna give it like a little stitch right there. So it's just a stitch so it doesn't come off, and I'm gonna cut it right up to that stitch. So the knot is there, but there's also a reinforcement stitch, and I'm gonna do that to the same thing to the other one, but I'm gonna have to come through the back because I already basted it. See, I'm just pulling it out. And all this is taking longer than actually making the hood. This is just extra precautions. Alright, so now it is on. Let me clip this. I'm afraid to use the sharp scissors and end up cutting my hood. Oh, come on. Just want to clip this right here. There we go. Okay, so now that it's on and basted. Alright, so because I basted it already, I'm going to turn my hood inside out, the hoodie inside out, and I'm gonna pretty much treat this like I would treat a neckband because I basted it. If I wouldn't have basted right sides together, then I would just come around back and then flip it all the way in. But since I basted it, I'm going this way. Right sides together. Find where that front is, where you mark the front. And pin. And then we're going to sew all the way around. Okay, so it's right sides together. The hood is in there, right sides together. And I'm going to sew all the way around. Making sure that when I get to the front, I'm sewing all those layers. All the layers I basted. So I just want to take my time and make sure they're all in there. As I'm going around. Now for the moment of truth. Here is our hood. Oof, I got all these strings coming out of everywhere. Here is my hood. How cute is this thing? I am in love, and I know my son is gonna love it. If you didn't baste the hood on, you would just overlap it at the front. So you would put it right, the back, you would put it right sides together, and you would come around and then overlap it right here and sew it like so. But basting to me feels like it's the easiest way to do it, and that's why I did it that way. I wanted to show you a little bit of a different way. I love the accent strap. I wish I would have picked a lighter color though, because this one's kind of dark. There, if I turn it the right way, you can see it better. But I kind of like that better than having the two straps just hanging out for no reason, getting dirty. Some kids put them in their mouth. no point of having them. They can be a hazard. So this is just the way that Ellie and Mac recommends we do it, and it looks ridiculously cute anyway, so I like it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did. If you have not subscribed, pause, subscribe, and comment so you can be entered to our giveaway, our monthly giveaway of $50 Ellie and Mac certificate. If you have not joined our Facebook or Instagram page, please come join us. We love to see what you're making. We like to see you show you what everybody else is making so you can be inspired to make lots and lots more patterns. And also, don't forget, comment, like, share with your friends, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!